A little bit of a personal update on my little S10 Blazer I got. I haven't really been doing much head porting here lately. I've got a couple of jobs coming up. No progress on the Pontiac 461 stroker to report. We were trying to get that done and put in his car before his wife had her baby. But we didn't win that battle, so for a little while anyway, they're going to be taking care of that newborn baby down there, and that's the way things should be. So anyway, I've been trying to clean up my shop, kind of getting things situated to upgrade that air compressor to that much larger pump. I think I figured out, a friend of mine, Richard, he found it was on eBay, and it's like a laser RPM indicator where you can put a little reflective piece of tape on anything that's rotating or moving back and forth or spinning, and it'll tell you what the RPM is. So what I'm going to do is use his little RPM laser to measure which size pulley works with my electric motor, because I cannot find. Granger will only tell me that yes, they sold that air compressor, but they have no information on what size pulley the electric motor is supposed to have or anything. So I know the target RPM of the engine, so as long as I can just buy a couple of the sizes that I think will work, I should be able to mock it up and run it and get the compressor pump in the right RPM range for it to be at max efficiency without over revving it. But anyway, moving on, we are going to go racing tomorrow night at the US 36 Raceway in I think it's called Osborne, Missouri. It is an 8th mile track, which kind of sucks, but I've been trying to clean this old rusty turd up and get it ready to run. I made a trade. I don't know if I've shown you guys these yet, but I traded for a set of what those called Combo Pros. I got some 275/60 just BF Goodrich drag radials to run on the back. I think he said these are 15 by 8.5 with a 5-inch back spacing. And I've got these skinny ones. I'm not sure if those are 3.5 or 4s, but they've got almost like brand new. I think they're 165/15 tires on them. So I'm going to get them wiped up and clean them up real good and swap them on the Blazer tomorrow night. I think we're going to try to leave by 3 so we can beat all the rush hour traffic. But I was just finishing the Nitrous install, because when I put my Nitrous plate on there, my stupid drop base air cleaner hits the hood. So what I generally do is just take just the screen of one of them old junk Edelbrock air cleaners, because I do not recommend running them under any circumstances with that flame. It's literally like a flammable foam element that they stick in there, because if your car even backfires a little bit, that thing will go up like a match. But I've used it for years just to keep large debris out of my carburetor when I'm racing, and a lot of people have seen me use that and said that was the only thing that they could ever imagine using one for, because they're so crappy. But when I show people this and I go, oh, I put the Nitrous on there, they're like, well, where is it? I say, well, I tapped out of my fuel rail. It comes around, and that stupid fuel solenoid hides right behind that upper radiator hose. It's not touching it. I mean, it's a good distance from it, but it's almost like I'm trying to hide the kit, but I'm not. I have an Edelbrock fuel filter. It's hard to see down in there. That little chrome, actually stainless steel fuel filter is cleanable. I pulled that thing off to just clean it out because it's been on there since I put the V8 in here. That thing was almost plugged up with either, it looked like little slivers of black RTV or maybe little pieces of that press lock hose inner liner. So thank God I pulled that apart and cleaned that screen, or I may have gone lean on the nitrous. But and if you look, sorry about that. And if you look, the nitrous solenoid sits back there kind of at an angle, and it wasn't really purposely done to hide it, but for some reason when you put that stupid solenoid at an angle like that, people don't see it as easy. I don't know why. But we got the relay mounted to the firewall, pulled our power from our post, and it all hides pretty well. I mean, if you just pop the hood and walk up on this thing, other than that stupid extra length of nitrous line that we had to hoop up over our AC crap, you could almost hide that with wire loom, and the average person walking by at night wouldn't even be able to see the stupid nitrous. But hiding nitrous kits is not really what I'm trying to do, but it was just kind of neat how I could pop the hood and show somebody the motor, and it really looks clean on the install. I'm only going to run a 135 shot. That's a 55 on this is a super power shot nitrous kit. So I'm going to run I think it's 55 on the nitrous, 51 on the fuel. And I do run more fuel pressure than most, because for right now, until I get a separate system, I just run the same 7 pounds of pressure to the nitrous kit, which everyone knows once you go wide open throttle, that pressure drops probably about a good pound. So using the nitrous jet calculator works out pretty good when you put in like 6 pounds of pressure, and it tells you, oh, run X nitrous, X fuel jets, or whatever to get this horsepower. Because this thing has the 7.5, it's got an Auburn posi unit with a 342 gear. In that 7.5 10 bolt, I'm not expecting that to be very strong. Matter of fact, I'm really worried about it breaking. So what I'm going to do is try to just run the nitrous in second and third gear. I mean, if I felt froggy, I could always try to hit it a little sooner. But I got one of them, what my friends call Ray Charles button. I put one of those nitrous activation switches on my steering wheel, and yes, it's huge. It's probably more than 1 inch in diameter. But I've got all my wiring down there. I still got to put in my panel that arms the, sorry about that. I got all my wiring down there that arms the bottle heater and then arms the nitrous solenoid, so they'll work. So I'll get those mounted up in all my dash crap when I put it back on either this evening or tomorrow. But I took it to the car wash and washed it probably, I think it was the first time in a year. And my gosh, the paint was just gleaming white. I didn't realize it was so doggone dirty. And like a dummy, I didn't pop the back hatch, because I was going to show you my install of my nitrous bottle in the passenger rear corner. Because we went from this rear corner, ran up past the back seat, went straight through the floorboard, and then followed the frame rail all the way to the front, and then came up through here, naturally avoiding the header heat to bring that line up. We originally were going to coil that extra nitrous line underneath the back seat of this thing, but we forgot about it. And by the time you run that line all the way through there and run the power wire to the heater following that same nitrous line, yeah, cutting all those little zip ties and then pulling that back up under the back seat just turned into a big headache. So we're just going to leave it like this for now, because we're not trying to impress anybody. We're just trying to make a few passes at the track. Before anybody asks, This thing is not meant, it was never built to be fast. I just wanted something with a V8 that could, spin the tires, catch second, and be fun to drive. As far as how fast do I think it's going to go, me and my friends have been debating how fast they think it can go. And it varies, pretty much stays around a 13-14 second range. The only thing I've ever done with this vehicle is run it on my I've got an app on my phone that kind of measures acceleration. And not being able to use first gear and just rolling into the throttle, it runs like I think it was like a 1441 at, I don't know, 98 miles an hour or something, I don't remember. But with a better track surface and some drag radials, I would be happy if this thing on motor, no nitrous, could run, gosh, do I dare say a 1380? I mean, I've done the weight, because it's 3,500 pounds with me in it. So I don't know. I hate to guess at stuff like that, because this motor, basically because of the 9-to-1, 9.4-to-1 compression and that little small cam, if it made over 340 horse, I'd just be, pickled pink. But I just can't imagine this thing running faster than a 13.8, 13.6 if I got a good wind behind me or something. But then again, I've never been able to run it where it would hook in first gear. Because, I mean, with this 3,500 plus stall in it, if you crowd the throttle too hard in first gear, even from a roll, it just lights them up. So I would just guesstimate high 13s on motor. On the 135 shot, I'm hoping for 1250s or better. A bunch of my friends were like, oh, that 135 shot, it'll probably go 1220s. I said, I don't know. This is only a 342 gear, 3,500 pound car with a 300 and whatever horse motor. I can't imagine it setting any records or anything. But I think it'll have plenty of power to have fun. I'm really got my fingers crossed that I don't break my rear end. I'm 100%, at least 97% confident I'm not going to have any problems with the engine or transmission, because they're both built, heavy duty. So they're not going to hurt themselves at the track. The rear end, I don't know. I've heard a lot of horror stories from people, and I've also heard people say, oh, I ran 12 O's, I ran 11 O's on those rear ends, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I've never had any good luck with 10-bolt rear ends. That's why I've always run 12 bolts and 9-inch Fords. I do have plans for this vehicle. When I do the turboed LS motor for it, I'm going to do an 8/8 swap and run I think we did the math on it. We're going to run a 273 gear with a 31 spline posi, custom Mosier axles, and an 8/8 with 9-inch ends on it. The reason why we're doing that with such a highway gear is I don't want to spend the big money to put an overdrive transmission in this thing. So basically what we're going to end up doing, after playing around with this nitrous and small block and street friendly 342 gears, you can run a 28-inch tall tire with a 273 gear, and I can probably run that same 3,500 stall I have, because if I remember correctly, it's good to like 800 horsepower. But you'd be able to run with a 28-inch tire, 273 gear. I'm only going to be turning 2,500, a little under 2,500 RPMs at 70 miles an hour. There's several people in our area that have built similar turbo LS combos, running between 273 and 327 gears. Most of the people that are running the 308s or 327 gear sets with the turbo LSs, they're running taller tires. They're running like a 29 or 30-inch tire. So we're figuring that it'll still be streetable, highway, cruise friendly, Can still roll race if you want, but still get up and move even from a dig with a decent set of, drag radials and a 273 gear and a good stall. So anyway, that's on down the road. I do have two turbos that's lined up. I've already actually got them over there in the box. I've got a cam. I've got a 4.8 motor down at Richard's house it's actually on a crate right now. I need to get it on my engine stand because I am going to pull it apart, do the rod bolt upgrade, gap the rings, do a cam swap. Carcraft, is it a Carcraft or Hot Rod? They did a build-up on just different stock LS's and turbos, boosts, all that stuff. And they said a really good low dollar upgrade for a 4.8 LS turbo was to put a LQ4 6-liter cam in it. So I got on eBay, searched a day or two I think, ended up getting a real good deal on a factory takeout LQ4 6-liter cam. So I'm going to throw that in that 4.8. Of course, since I do cylinder head porting, I'm going to port the, I don't remember what numbered heads that thing had, but like 862 or something. But I'm going to port those heads and upgrade them to the 2.00 intake valves. Do the regular comp cam trunnion roller upgrade and all that good stuff. It ought to be. It would make as much power as I want to put boost to it. Once I hit the, probably 500 or 600 to the wheels, that's as far as I'm going to push it, because those 3rd gen LS motors will start rubber. It bends the rods really bad when you get more than that to the wheels. I'm not trying to set any records. I just want something that's fun for me to drive, can take it to the track once in a while. Just generally have fun with it on the street, because I don't really get into street racing like I used to, because the crowd has really dwindled. There's not, a real safe place to go do it like there used to be. And, being a grown-up with the responsibilities, you can't just go out doing stupid stuff and end up getting in trouble. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I won't street race. I'm just saying I'm not going to make it like an every week thing or go out and do stupid stuff and get people in trouble, because that's what we used to do years ago, and nobody ever seemed to get hurt and nobody ever had any problems. But as soon as you start thinking it's okay, something bad's going to happen, I'm sure. Anyway, I got the old 1985 S10 Blazer. She cleaned up pretty good. Because that paint's so crappy, I scrub it. You have to scrub it with a magic eraser to get all the grease fingerprints off of it. But hopefully this winter, my friend Andy and I are going to paint this pig. And that's going to require at least 3 little lower body panel replacements, because it's got a little bit of a rust issue in the back. And make a decision on whether I want to do all white again, or we're talking about doing a 2-tone. I want to say we were talking about doing like a gunmetal gray from that body line down, go back with the white from that body line up, and then separate the two with like a kind of like a Chevy orange, because those factory Blazer seats kind of has an inset of kind of like a Chevy orange in the gray velour or whatever that seat's covered with. So that might be a good combo, and it give it a little bit more flair. Although I like the simplicity of the solid white vehicle, because it hides dirt really well. It hides all the stupid door dings and dents and crap that's wrong with it. But anyway, you guys wish me luck. There's going to be, Richard's going to take his Typhoon. Dave's going to take his Nitrous powered, I think it's an 80 Trans Am. I'm going to take this thing. There's another guy that works with Richard and Dave up at the Shuttle Wagon. He's taking a car, but I think it's just a new V6 Camaro. But those things put out like 300 horsepower. I'm expecting it to run pretty decent if it don't just spin. But we've been waiting a long time to go racing. And ever since they closed the KCIR in our local market, it's just everybody sold all their cars and pretty much got out of racing and everything because there wasn't anywhere to go. So anyway, wish us luck. I'll probably not be able to get video at the track. If somebody else's family member is there and takes a video that I can get a copy of, I'll for sure put it on my account so everybody can see it. But I'm going without my family, so I don't have anybody with me to really video. But I will post an update once we find out how things go and how fast everybody runs. Thanks for watching.